Welcome students of Form 3 and to be exact of Form 3B. Like always, when I'm talking about this paragraph 6 of chapter 2, it's always handy to take the book in front of you so you know what I'm actually talking about. So take in front of you paragraph 6 of chapter 2, and we're talking right now about functions of institutions. In other words, why actually do we have institutions in our society? Why do we need them and where are they used for? So take this paragraph in front of you if you didn't do that yet. And we're talking about the following learning outcomes. At the end of this topic, you will be able to evaluate, and evaluate actually means looking at the pros and the cons, at the advantages and the disadvantages, and giving a final judgment about it. Yeah, so evaluate the functions of institutions in society. Again, why do we have institutions? Which functions do they have? And give an evaluation about that. So look at its pros, look at its cons, as its advantages, its disadvantages, and give a final judgment about it, taking into account all the things that you know about this topic. And again, I said this a lot during these last videos. Before you start studying each paragraph, please, before you begin, always at first look at the learning outcomes so you know what you're doing and what you're looking at. This is like the accent of the paragraph we are looking at, the learning outcomes. We begin with recreational. I believe then we will look at religious, and then finally we're going to look at political. So these 3 points, recreational, religious, and political, we're going to look at it at this video, at this final video about chapter 2. Recreational. Recreational institutions provide facilities for people to use in their leisure time, and leisure time is just a more difficult word for your spare time. The time that you don't have to work or study and you can rest, pleasure, and amuse yourself. And these institutions help people maintain physical and mental well-being. Yeah, I believe that is in papiamento, bienestar. Yeah, bienestar physicalmente, bienestar mental. And in this way they contribute, in Dutch we say bijdrage, contribui, think papiamento, to the desarrollo of a country's human resources, sursa humana. Recreational institutions include sport clubs, theaters, music venues, and tourist venues, and we'll look at those in a minute or so. But first, about that very important word, they help people maintain physical and mental well-being, and this way, recreational institutions help people in their mental and physical well-being, and they develop the human resources of a country. Yeah, so in this sense, they're very important. That you cannot only have like work, you cannot only have offices, you cannot only have schools. You also always need in your country recreational institutions, like for instance the Sandals, although most people from abroad go there, like for instance the festival center at Brivegat, like for instance the Theater Norman de Palm in Serie Otrobanda, like Teatro Cadaquén, for example, but for instance also recreational facilities at Marie Pompoen, but for instance also the basketball field at Suffisant. Those are just some places that came in my mind when I was reading this text, but there are also lots of other places that are examples of recreational institutions. And the important expression in papiamento, or the important word in papiamento, is here bienestar physicalmente y mental. Yeah, bienestar. Religious. The different religions of the Caribbean have organizations or institutions to represent them to their followers. So the pastor represents the religion, the Catholic religion, towards its people. The priest, the Hindu priest, the Pundit, represents Hinduism towards its followers. A minister of a Protestant church or an evangelical church represents the religion towards the followers, the churchgoers. There are buildings such as churches, mosques, churches of Christians, mosques of Muslims, synagogues of Jewish people, and temples of, for instance, Buddhists or Hindu people, which are places of worship, oration, and teaching. Yeah, those are places in which followers, learners get taught about their religion or worldview. There are also people within the organization, such as ministers, imams in Islam, rabbis in Jewish faith, and priests, for instance, in Hinduism or Buddhism, to whom believers may go for spiritual direction and support. En een person's faith, religion, een fe die onhende, ta un essential of crucial of central of fundamental part of his or her life. In other words, the faith of a person is like not just a thing where you go on Sunday when a person really believes. It's crucial, it's essential, it's fundamental for his or her life. It can assist in social control, so keeping the person on a certain path morally, in comportation, in behavior, when the values of the faith align with the values of the society. Yes? So read this text because it's a very important text to understand and to grasp, because the society of Curacao is, you cannot deny that, a very religious and spiritual society. Religion is not just the thing you do on Sunday for a lot of people. It is a part of their identity, and it is crucial or fundamental to the lives of a lot of people. So if you go to the Catholic Church in Bonam and you wake up at 5 o'clock to follow the masses of Aurora in the 10 days, I believe, for Christmas, or if you are a Muslim and you go to the mosque in Otrobanda, close to Otrobanda anyway, or you go to the Hindu temple in one of the resorts of Curacao. There's a Hindu temple, and I forgot where it exactly was, but I've actually seen it a lot close by. So if you're a Hindu, or you're a Muslim, or if you're a Catholic, joining into the Aurora Mass, the 10 days before Christmas, religion is central in a person's life. It's not just a thing, but it's often very important, and also very important for the behavior of people. And the Society of Curacao, like you can see in the picture there, in the Society of Curacao, prayer, oration, and mainly the Catholic faith, the Catholic religion, but more and more also the Protestant and mainly the evangelical religion is more and more important. Where you wouldn't see that in the Netherlands, in The Hague, in front of the Tweede Kamer, in front of the parliament, you wouldn't see as fast people praying. You wouldn't see very, very fast people praying in parliament, as even for people in government, for people in parliament, in the Staten, religion is a very important part of your life. And like in America, when you're the president, when you are religious and you show that you're Catholic or evangelical, it is easier to be elected in parliament. So this shows that in Curacao society, being religious is way more important than it would be in Western Europe, actually. Believing in God, going to a Catholic sermon, going to a Catholic ritual, showing that perhaps even on social media, expressing your religious faith on TV, being Catholic, or more and more being of Protestant or evangelical faith, that is an integral, a fundamental, a crucial part of people in Curacao. And the majority, in mayoria, of people in Curacao believe in God, are Catholic, or are Protestant, or are evangelical. It's fundamental to the lives of a lot of people, and it also guides the lives of a lot of people in Curacao. It also assists, like you can see here and over there, in social control. It assists the way most people, in maioria at the end, think people should behave. Then the last point of 3, we talked about recreational. You can look at that. We talked about religious. You can look at that too. We're now going to talk about political. So the main organization of the political institution of a country is the government. E governo in papimento. E governo está responsável. Yeah, the government is responsible for ensuring that the society is able to grow, cresce y florecer, and to be safe, yeah, seguro y seguridad. To be safe and secure. Dus cresce y florecer y seguro y segura. Something like that. If you want to improve me, you can do that below. There are many competing and sometimes conflicting interests within this country. Interest in Dutch would be belangen, yeah, and in papimento ta interesnan. Interest means what a certain group, old people, young people, Catholics, Muslims, Judeo-Curacao, Western Europeans, think is good for them. This group can also be inhabitants of Bonham or the inhabitants of Buena Vista. So a certain group has certain things that are good for them, and what is good for that certain group they want to achieve and are their interests. So a certain group, inhabitants, people of a certain religion, people of a certain ethnic background, a certain age group, people with a certain kind of behavior, people who have a business, people who work for a certain company, they have specific interests. And this group, with their interests, the government has to see that everybody's interests are taken into account and regulated. Into account means the government has to listen to them, has to have an open ear for them. Okay, what do you want? But we cannot do what everybody wants, so we have to balance them. We have to regulate them. Because we cannot do what everybody wants, we have to do a little bit. The government has to do a little bit what everybody wants. We cannot privilege one group, so we have to regulate what the different groups in society need and want, so that it is fair for everybody. Yeah. So the interests have to be taken into account and regulated. That means they balance those interests and they balance what those different groups, all of them, actually want. How does a government achieve this? Con un gobierno da logra esse aqui. Com un gobierno da logra esse aqui. Yeah? By making laws and establishing sanctions, so repercussions, consequences, punishments, castigo, yeah, or boot, or other consequences for those who break them. Producing policies. So how are we going to get less traffic accidents? How are we going to get people to pay their taxes in time? How are we going to get better education on the island? Our ministers and their public workers, they think of plans and they try to implement them with a certain goal in society, and we call these policies. How are we going to get better education? More air conditioning? Check the teachers more? Pay the teachers more? How are we going to get less traffic accidents? More lighting on the side of the road? A more complicated driver's license exam? Policies, plans with certain goals. Sometimes they involve laws, lots of times, and a lot of the times they also involve sanctions. And this is the way the government achieves taking into account and regulate everybody's interests. Laws, sanctions, and policies. And sanctions. Okay, defending the nation state, we have the Dutch army, but we also have the Guarda Costa of the island. So in this, we work together closely with the European Netherlands. maintaining relationships with other countries. Government exists on a national and local level in most Commonwealth carrying countries, those of Great Britain, or those are connected with Great Britain. Local governments can foster local democracy and ensure that local issues are addressed. Well, we don't have like a mayor of Willemstad or the mayor of Barber or the mayor of Soto. We have one government, and that government takes care of the whole island. But we are still connected in the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So the Gobierno of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, in a lot of cases, helps us out. For instance, concerning defending the nation state and maintaining relationships with other countries, we get help from the Gobierno of the Kingdom that resides in The Hague. They are also, together with us, responsible for defending the nation state, and we are a part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, so they also defend us, and also a big responsibility, besides our own, lies in The Hague in maintaining relationships with our countries. So we said, laws, sanctions, and policies, those are really important in establishing regulation and taking into account the interests of the different people in society. The key points we talked about in this video. Religious institutions help people in matters of faith. Political institutions officially regulate the activities of society and they take them into account. But this word regulating is very important, so keep that in mind. And recreational institutions provide for fulfillment in leisure time, for pleasure, amusement, and health. But they also are important in development and the maintenance of human resources. So also keep that in mind, the word human resources, because it will come back also in later videos, human resources. So I hope this video was helpful. Yeah, and please look at the learning outcome and look at the behavior verb, the functions of institutions in society. Always look at this paragraph with that in the back of your mind. And I hope this video was helpful. If you want to subscribe, you can do that below. So the bell will be rung when I make new videos. If you want to ask a question, you can also do that below. You can ask me a question about the content of this video, but you also can ask me a question during class. For now, I wish you a very nice day and a very well-meant goodbye to you all.